With all of the unrest in the Middle East lately, can you see capitalism in any way helping to ease the tensions there?
No way. I am from the Middle East. I was an oppressing soldier myself. I was 8 years in the Israeli army, and I can tell you that the type of capitalism that the state of Israel practices in the occupied territories is simply a sure recipe for continued violence forever and ever. There's no way, simply not.
If I may intervene.
Okay.
I'm from the other side, so I'm Palestinian Israeli. I disagree. I would have agreed with you all the way until 2008, but after the Cisco initiative back there, I think the situation completely changed.
In what way?
I'll give you an example. I started a software company over there, and it's based in Ramallah. Ramallah is the economic capital of the West Bank. And most of my clients are in Israel. And my developers go and work with the Israeli side, and the Israeli developers come and visit my office in Ramallah. And they work together, and they got to know each other. And initially, they always hated each other. They didn't want to work with each other. But the fact that the integration started between them, they actually now go out with each other, they drink with each other, well, at least those that drink, and they have friendships with each other. Now, another example is last September, when the Palestinian state, when the Palestinians wanted to declare a state, the few people that wanted to break out in violence, the first buffer that stopped them was businessmen like myself, and developers and engineers that worked with the Israeli side that stopped them. Because no one has an interest to go to conflict when you're doing business with each other, regardless of your political agenda.
Are you from Israel?
What?
Are you from Israel or from the West Bank?
I'm from Jerusalem. So I'm an Israeli passport holder, but I'm a Palestinian.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were annexed.
What is it?
You were annexed. How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about being
Annexed. Did you want to be an Israeli citizen?
Did I want to be an Israeli citizen? It doesn't matter.
To you?
Yeah.
I'm very happy for you, by the way. I can tell you that your case is not representative.
No, but honestly, it doesn't really matter what, again, regardless of my political agenda or anybody else's political agenda, if I'm doing business with you, I have no interest. What you're doing, what the business is doing is reducing the cost, or actually it's increasing the cost of war.
Actually, in the Israeli case, more there is trade relations between Israel and the Palestinians, and in West Bank, in the Gaza Strip, since the relationship is so skewed and the Palestinian economy so depends on Israel, it gives Israel a huge tool, a stick, that every time somebody makes a pips in one of those cities or demonstrates, let alone engages in acts of violence, there's immediately blockade. Everything stops. How do you think the Palestinians feel about it? Why do you think the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip continue to shoot missiles all the time? It's 1.5 million people that are in a prison.
I completely agree with you.
So I don't see how trade here, let alone capitalism. By the way, Israeli capitalism is financed by American capitalism, and both together, they are the ones that enable the occupation.
I'll give you.
I don't see anyone who is happy about that.
I would like to, if we can, move on to a new question, and you guys can take up your discussion after if you would like. Sure.
To that, and I think one thing we have learned is ample empirical evidence and very strong, robust theoretical arguments about why capitalism will be able to be sustainable. It depends on private property rights institutions. And we have a strong theoretical and empirical support that to develop private property rights institutions, you need strong checks and balances within the society. And so without that, it's very difficult. because one side can always make the might makes right, right? So to allow that to occur in the Middle East, and sort of, I don't see. I think it's a little bit overly naive to believe democracy developed in Middle East would be the kind of Western democracy that we have in mind. It's not going to be the same. So you see all these Islamist parties then coming to power, and that will be. I think it's a wrong war just to begin with, because it's not going to achieve what we wanted to achieve, and we already know that. But now I think it's really difficult to see a democracy that's going to be, what kind of democracy it's going to be, nobody knows right now.
Can I ask one question? This is just an empirical, scientific question. So how would you describe, and I'm asking this to test my argument. So how would you describe your relationship with the state in terms of building your business? Did you rely on, was this, I mean, what's the source of your comparative advantage, right? Or are you getting, relaxed loans from the state, or is this completely private initiative? Are you taking advantage of something?
It's a completely private initiative, and the advantage I took is the blockades that Dr. Rafi is talking about. The reason is, you have people who are under Israeli military occupation that's putting them in large jail cells. Now, the incentive, when we're talking, I'm an economist by training, so the incentive system there is you look for jobs that do not require a lot of commuting, and these jobs are engineering and services. So you have a plethora of highly qualified engineers who can't travel and can't move from one place to another. And you can leverage them by having them work as software engineers for clients outside.
Thank you.
But the state, I'm sorry, I want to add one more thing. Now, the regulatory system is underdeveloped, is highly underdeveloped, but because of forces from the grassroots, like entrepreneurs from the grassroots, this is changing completely. And of course, there is US government intervention to accelerate the process.